My name is Chris Bristol. I work with the Ocean County Career Center, where we help people learn about, find jobs as well as do training for in-demand occupations. But I'm here today to kind of talk about the upcoming job fair that we're going to be doing or helping Southern Ocean County with. And I want to give job seekers a little bit of a um, dues for a job fair because there's so much that you can prepare for a job fair. You can always go last minute, but that can kind of be counterproductive. So I want to kind of do a little workshop here that kind of helps people get prepared because if you're not prepared, um, it can affect you possibly getting a job. Um, so the question is, what really is a job fair? Well, this job fair that we're going to be doing at the Mainland Inn in Manahawkin, right off of Route 72, um, is going to be having roughly 50 plus employers. And, there's going to be a diverse group of people, of employers. So we want to make sure that you're prepared. Now, how can you be prepared for this? Well, one thing is, you know, look up who's going to be at the job fair. And at the end of this video, we're hoping to have not a full list, but a partial majority list of who's going to be there. So you can kind of do a little bit of research in the company so you know who's going to be there. Um, and it gives you that ability to kind of go to who you want and then secondary go to somebody else. This way it gives you that ability to know where you want to go. Um, and sometimes job fairs are not that you're going to be in there for an interview right then and there. They're collecting stuff, but you can make an impression on people at the job fair that if you're not careful, they always say first impressions are so important. If you don't have that first impression, you can lose a job just because of that. So, what do you do to prepare before you go? Well, like I said, you review the companies. You look for 5 or 10 companies you want to work with, or that you want to work for. I'm sorry, not work with. Um, Now you can't plan your route through the event because it's not the seats are not available, stationed yet. But when you get there, you can kind of peruse everything first, see who you want to talk to, make sure they showed up. This way, you're kind of walking around, get an idea. Then you can start planning out. Okay, I want to go to ABC Electric, DEF Automotive, and to kind of figure out where you want to go. Now, with that, you're going to have things that you want to bring with you. Um, the first thing you want to bring is your resume, and you're going to want to bring photocopies, say between 10 and 15 copies. This way, the resume that you can hand in right away. They're not looking to do this through AI, through their website or anything. You can hand it right to them, and they can look at it right away. Sometimes they can say to you, yes, you're a great fit, or you need a little bit of help. Now, one thing that Ocean County Career Center does is we do help with resumes. So we can help tweak resumes a little bit to kind of make it a little bit better. Um, the other things you want to bring with you, believe it or not, it's going to sound weird, but you want to bring your phone fully charged. The reason for that is you may have to do a barcode to apply. You might have to do some online stuff. So at least have your phone fully charged and ready. You're not phone's dying, so you miss out on the opportunity to talk to an employer or submit a resume or to submit an application because they might still require the application. So even though you have given them the resume, you still might have to apply. And then have a folder to hold business cards, your resumes, any pamphlets that the companies have, because maybe you weren't sure about this company at first. Now you have their literature. You can go back and think about this and be like, okay, let me look at applying to them because, you know, I got a good vibe from it and I could see working for them. You know, doing research for on a company is great, but until you talk to somebody from an employer, you're not going to know if it's the right fit for you. The other thing that you want to start thinking about is crafting your elevator pitch. Um, how long is an elevator pitch? You want it to have it between 30 seconds and 40 seconds. And you're thinking, wow, that's short. It's not. It really is not. Now, what would you talk about in that 30 to 40 seconds? First thing you want to talk about is who you are. You know, hey, my name is Chris Bristow from Ocean County Career Center. I'm a transition specialist. Say that three times fast. Um, and I'm looking to do, become a full-time recruiter now. That's what your pitch is going to be. You know, what makes you a strong candidate? I've been doing job search. I've been doing events and talking to people and kind of getting to know them. You want to be able to explain to them in 30 seconds why you're a strong candidate. Yes, your resume will do a lot for you, but that 30, 45 seconds, that's going to be the key. Um, and that's for all different people, whether you're an entry level person, you've got experience in the field, or you're changing careers, Um, when I started doing this, I had been a car salesman and I took all my experience of working with companies, working with, um, the general public looking for cars, and I've parlayed it into this position. Um, and I've done it very well. And it just becomes you learn what you can and you talk and just get that quick um that quick meaning across. Um, but that's very important is that elevator pitch and make sure you craft it right. Now, are you going to have it right on the first person you talk to? Absolutely not. But how are you going to get better? Your cell phone. It's got a camera. Record it. Play it back. Play it back for your family. See what they think, because they might say, you know what? Why don't you change this, change that? You'll be amazed at how much better you'll get. And you'll see the time and be like, oh, I got to work on this a little bit more. So that's always one thing to do. You know, these cell phones are so good now. I mean, they used to be just for talking. Now you have cameras, you have the internet at your fingertips. So it's really something that can help you with your job search and your pitches. Now, here's the big thing. I think that's more important than your resume, more important than even your elevator pitch, and it's how you dress. Now, there's different ways of dressing for a job fair. You want to dress so that you impress everybody. Now, what is the proper dress? For guys, a button-down shirt and a tie and khakis and a nice pair of shoes. Do they have to be expensive? No. Sometimes you can get away with um, something as comfortable as a Hey Dude, as long as it looks professional. And that's doesn't matter what job you're going for. If you're going for a construction job, you don't need the tie. But if there's something else there that you're looking for, you're going to want the tie. So you want to prepare yourself so you're ready for anything. And for the ladies, you don't have to wear uh, a business suit, a nice blouse, nice footwear, and a nice pair of slacks. Nothing too revealing because you're going for a job. Basically, this is your job interview without you knowing it, without the employer knowing it. Because if you're coming in dressed, and I've seen this happen, and this is why I'm talking. I've seen people at job fairs dressed in pajamas. And I'll tell you right now, I would see that. I would not hire them. I wouldn't even recommend them to an employer because of my first impression of them. And that's powerful. Your dress is very important. Your body language, very important. You don't have to be full of confidence, you know, but there's a saying, fake it till you make it. You have that confidence, you show the confidence, have a good hand grip. Try not to stutter because I know for a fact when I get nervous, I stutter sometimes. And that's where if you can fake it, you can take a deep breath when you talk, you're going to make a better impression than most people would realize. Um, and it's like, how do you approach somebody, a recruiter or just somebody that's manning the booth and appear naturally? Best way I can say is just walk up to them, say, "Hi, my name is Chris Bristow. I see that you're looking for CNA positions. Can we talk about that for a minute?" That's all it is. Just get that conversation, get your foot in the door. You'll be amazed how many times that alone is going to be enough to help you. Now, you're going to be talking to hopefully 10 to 15 employers. Well, how do you start the conversation? Like I said, you just start like you start any conversation. Best way to do that, think of them as your long lost friend. If you haven't seen them in 5 years. That's going to be more important because that, believe it or not, is the confidence that you need to talk to somebody. Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. You're not going to say that, but hey, my name is Chris. Can you talk for a minute? I want to ask about a couple of positions I saw that you have available. And just, once you start, you're going to jump into your elevator pitch, and just keep the conversation flowing. You know, it's, we've all had conversations. One thing somebody told me many, many years ago, and I never believed them, is everybody is in sales. You are always selling yourself. Never sell yourself short. Have the confidence when you walk in to any place, you're going to get a job. Don't come off cocky, but come off confident. Like, yeah, I'm going in there today. I'm going to find a job. Now, are you going to find a job? Maybe, maybe not. However, maybe there's an employer that says, you know what? We can't hire you right now. Maybe in a couple months, or we know the perfect, another company that's looking for people. Maybe we can send them to you. No is fine. No is going to be expected. Keep the confidence there. Keep your chin up. Because as soon as you hear that no, say like, okay, fine. Next. Have the confidence. You know, I always tell my clients when they apply, and I say, what's the worst thing that they can say? No? Okay, fine. We start working for the next one. We start looking for the next job. We don't, no is not a deterrent. It is just fuel to get you to the next point. Some of the questions that maybe you want to ask, what qualities are you looking for in a successful candidate? What roles are you hiring for? What does training look like? Because some jobs they require some more training. Well, what does that entail? Ask just general questions, and you'll know them, believe it or not, after you start talking to the employer. You'll get an idea. Uh, Some of the things that you want to avoid is reading your resume to them. Just don't have your resume and read off it line by line. Have it kind of memorized a little bit. Not so much, but you want to have key points that you know. Um, you don't want to talk too long because sometimes you can talk yourself out of a job just as easily as into a job. So how long is too long? You'll figure it out. You want to be able to talk to them for about a minute to 2 minutes and gauge how it is. Before you leave, ask them what the next steps are. Do I leave my resume with you? Do I have to apply online? What's the next steps? And is there somebody I can contact in a week? Ask questions so you know what your next steps are. If they say, you know what, just give me your resume, all right, still call them in a week to see if there's anything. Um, Collecting information. Information is king. What are you gonna, what do you want to do? Well, it's not a bad idea to take notes after each conversation. Who you spoke to, what position you were talking about. Um, did you leave them their resume? What the general impression was? Those are simple questions that you can have so that when you call back or email, because you're going to want to get their business card or their contact information so you can follow up. Now, years ago, when you used to follow up, you followed up the next day. There's more job seekers out there, so you want to make it strategic. If this event is on a Thursday, follow up with them on next Tuesday, the following Tuesday, and just say, "Hey, I was at the job fair. So wondering if you've decided on what direction you're going or what you're looking to do because I am interested in the job." Now you're not going to call the next day and the next day and the next day. You're going to want to give them about a week, week and a half in between. You want to seem eager, but not too eager where they're saying, okay, they're just blowing up our phones. We don't need to talk to them because they seem a little too desperate. So you want to do it strategically. You want to talk a little bit here, a little bit there. Send an email. Hopefully you have an email. Say, hey, I gave you my resume. Just seeing what the next steps are. Short, sweet, simple. You don't need to have a full-blown conversation unless they're willing to have a conversation with you. Maybe they want to set up that interview and they were like, oh, you know what? We haven't gotten to it yet. But while we're on the phone, can we set up an interview? That's sometimes the little things to do. These all matter. Um, when you get a business card, this is kind of a new thing for me, is write a memorable detail on the card. What do you remember about that recruiter? Because you're going to be talking to 10, 15, maybe even everybody there. You're not going to remember all of them. Write something that's memorable. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I talked back to the guy that had the slick back hair with with the beard, dressed semi-professional, nice guy. And remember, you kind of get those easily rememberable things so that when you're talking to him, be like, that's right, that's who that was. Now, after the job fair, after you've left, you've gotten all your information, you've talked to hopefully everybody there, and you're like, all right, I feel confident. It's the follow-up. Like I said, you want to follow up with them week, week and a half after. Do not be persistent. Um, um, you want to do these in short messages. Short messages being 3 to 4 sentences. Hi, it's Chris Bristow from Ocean County. I'm sorry. Let me think in the term of a job seeker. Hi, my name is Chris. Gave you my resume on um, March 12th. at the mainland inn for Southern Ocean County Chambers of Commerce job fair. I was wondering where we're at in the process. Um, when you have a chance, please reach out to me. That's it. Short, sweet, simple. You don't have to go into great detail because the more detail you give them, the more desperate. We don't want you to be desperate. We want you to be the right amount of pushy without being too pushy. Um, and phone call, email, I would phone them first. Do the same thing with an email, but phone them. If you don't get a chance to talk to them, follow up with an email. Because sometimes people's emails are, I'm sorry, voicemails are full, and you're not going to be able to leave a message, or you leave a message and they don't check it for a week because they're busy. That's why you do both. And you do them at the same time. Now, you can also do a spreadsheet with the employer, who you talk to, their phone number, the email address, and when you reached out, as well as even if you want to go really crazy, what job you applied for, did you hand in your resume, did you apply online, so that you have it in some sort of order, so you make sure you're not calling the same person day after day. Um, so those are really the keys to get yourself prepared. Now, I know I talked about a lot of different information, um, and that's fine. And that's why we're doing this video because it's so important. Um, but I hope to see you at March 12th at the Mainland Inn in Manahawkin. Please make sure you bring your resumes and be prepared for some really good employers. Thank you.